Welcome students! In this section I'll show you how much money I was able to make on eBay using the methods I'll be teaching you in this class alone. How would you like to make the same or even more amount of money? If you do want to make it, join in this class and I will teach you every method that I used to make this kind of cash, and you can do this as well. On eBay itself, I made about 1,066 transactions, which earned me to be a top-rated power seller on this awesome website. In the past few months, out of 188 transactions that I did, I was able to make $5,800. My total sum of money I was able to make is $20,000, and that's out of 625 transactions. You wanna get your sources from multiple different locations. You're getting the best kind of products that are gonna make money for you. So you can make almost as much as I did, or even more, if you implement the same exact methods that I actually used myself.
So the first thing that I want to do is create a listing. Before I can go about and create a listing itself, going into the menu with creating a listing, there is two different choices for me: a single listing or a multiple listing. The one I'm going to be choosing here is a single listing. I don't need multiple listings. Before I go and do the category itself, you want to go into and find the product that you're selling. So what I did here, I typed in the product that I'm selling, and there is all kinds of products that are selling that are similar to mine. My job is, of course, to find the product that is very similar to the one that I'm selling, and then I'm gonna take this product itself and create my own listing using an example of one that's already previously made. So here is one that I found, and this one looks almost identical to the product that I'm actually selling. The next thing that I want to do is to go into this listing itself. This shows me my competition. You gotta look at the competition before you're gonna create your own listing, because this is gonna give you some reference point of how much they're charging, if they actually sold anything, and how to make it look even better. So the first thing that I noticed in this picture is here is the product itself, and here is the item that they are selling. There is an example of the two items that comes with the product itself. So the first thing that you have to decide is, do you want to sell one of those items individually, or do you want to sell the whole box of it? It looks like you have to sell the whole box, otherwise you're going to get nearly nothing for it. So I looked at this product itself, I looked at the picture, I took similar pictures of the same exact item. Now the good thing is about this product is there was already a reference point, and I know it already sold. There was 4 different items that sold that are similar to this one. So all I have to do is to look at the title now. I looked at the title. Next thing I'm looking at is taking a look at what kind of description they have for the item itself. There's not much here. There's a little bit written for the description, so that doesn't do much help for me when it comes to describing the item. So sometimes you get a good description that you can take and you can copy some of it and then rephrase it in your own words. You must rephrase everything in your own words, otherwise you'll be copying another listing, and if you're copying another listing, that's a violation of eBay terms. And if you violate their terms, what might happen is whoever is selling this item might find the same exact item that looks exactly identical to them that is selling, and it looks almost the same. So they're going to complain to eBay, and my listing will get taken off eBay itself, and I will get in trouble. So I don't want to actually do that. That's why you have to use your own pictures and your own description, and everything has to be by yourself. You have to do everything step by step in your own way, but at the same time you have to have a reference point. You have to know how someone else did it, otherwise you don't know how to proceed, especially with something new that you have not sold before. When you press on advance on the right hand side of the window, you're gonna have a menu that looks exactly like this. When you have this menu, what you can do here, you can do an advanced search. With an advanced search, you'll be able to locate how much this item actually sold for. So you have a few different choices here that you could do. There is the sold listings, there is the completed listings, and the big difference between completed and sold is quite simple. If something just gets sold, it got paid for it. If it is completed, the item might not have got paid for it and it could have got relisted. So sold is the one you want to check. There is different kind of prices that you can look for. You can look at the different buying formats. You can look at the different item conditions to get the most specialized condition of your item. What you're trying to do is to find an identical item exactly like the one that you're selling. You don't want to make anything that's different than what you're selling. So the next thing that I actually did, I went in eBay itself, I typed the same exact item, but now what I'm actually doing is I pressed on all the way to the left side where it says sold listings. I want to see how much this item actually sold for, so I get some reference point how much money I potentially can get. So somebody here sold 3 different boxes of this item for $38, but I have only 2 boxes, and I think I can do a little better if I sell them individually versus sell every single one of them in one lot. So if I sell like 5 or 6 of them in one lot, I will get probably less money, because not everybody wants that many of the same exact item. That's why it's a lot beneficial sometimes, instead of selling in a big lot of the identical item, to sell them individually, because now maybe people want to buy one item at a time. They don't need so much of the same identical item. That's why it's probably better to do it that way. So here is another listing. This looks like it's sold only for $10 right here, but this is different. It's a slightly different item. In this section, we are going to be playing detective, where you go about and you spy on other eBay sellers to figure out what kind of items they're selling, why they're selling those items, and how you can do something very similar. Emulate what they're doing, because since they're successful already, you want to see how successful eBay sellers are making money, because you can do the same. So the first step for you is to press on advanced. After you press on advanced, you're going to see something that looks like advanced search. Then your next step is going to be very simple. You're going to be pressing on buy sell. So for this to actually work, you really need to have a seller ID user number. So after you find the seller ID user number, you just type it in right here, and then what you're going to be doing next is pressing on show completed listings only within the last 15 days, and results per page 200, and by best match. So we are going to do all of this. Now we're going to go and paste the seller ID, who I found to be a very successful seller on eBay himself, and we're going to be pressing on search next. So after I pressed on that, I have every single item that he is selling. Now you could do the same exact thing by looking up any kind of eBay seller who has a seller ID number. Sometimes it is very useful for you to go about it this way, instead of you clicking on the seller himself and just checking out what kind of items that he is selling. Another way for you to do this that is very simple as well is to go all the way down, and on the left side press on completed listings. So we're going to do exactly that. Now we're going to see what kind of items he is actually selling and making money on. So the next step for you is to take a look at the items that he is selling, and then try to figure out which items he sold and how much he made, and also figure out what kind of mistakes he actually did. Such as, let's take a look at those 2 items right here. He only made $10 here and $6 right there, and you can see exactly why. He's missing the picture. By creating a picture, sometimes when you go and upload a picture to eBay, it doesn't come out. So make sure you always go in and double check your listing to make sure everything came out, including the front pictures. You can see 2 front pictures didn't come out, and it definitely hurt his sales. Let's take a look at what else he is selling. So there's a lot of used items that he is putting up, and he's making good money with them. Let's go back in here. So the first thing we did is the completed listings, but now we're looking at the sold listings. That is way superior than completed listings. Let's go into that. Press on sold listings. So now we see every single item they sell actually sold on eBay itself. So completed listings didn't give me that. It gave me items that actually been sold, but it didn't tell me if somebody paid for those items themselves. That's why I went and did completed listings. So now we are going to be looking at which ones got him the most money, which is priced by the highest first. This guy has 1,775 feedbacks. That's a lot of feedbacks for item that he actually sold. So I definitely want to learn what he's doing correctly and what can I do to make my business go to the next level. As you can see, here is the items that got him the most money. So I'm looking at what kind of products that he actually sold, and after looking at it, I want to emulate and do the same exact thing.